everybody. So today is Tuesday. That means it's Theater Tuesday, and I'm so excited about this new series I'm starting. Sometimes it'll be short, edited videos like we're having today with like a list or maybe a review of a show that I've seen. And other times it's going to be more of a podcast format where I'm going to be hopefully interviewing people. Like next week, it's going to be the episode of Schmigadoon where we're going to be talking about the next couple episodes. We're going to have all different kinds of things on Tuesday, but it'll be theater related. And I really am looking forward to doing it. But today I'm so excited because we are talking about underrated Broadway musicals. And I had to make some criteria of kind of what I meant by underrated. And overall, it had to have something that had a fairly short run on Broadway. It had to be something that I've seen. And it had to be something that won little to no Tony Awards. So that would take some out of the running because either I haven't seen it or I felt like it got a lot of praise or it had a long run. Like something like The Addams Family actually had a pretty long run. Here we go. Here's my list. At number 10, I have Head Over Heels. And this show is a jukebox musical based on the Go-Go Girls songs. And this show got completely eviscerated by critics, especially in the New York Times. And so I went to see it at the Grand Theater, which is part of the local community college, last year. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It was very gay positive. It's the Go-Go Girl songs, but it's set in the Renaissance period based on the Countess of Pembroke's Arcadia, which is 16th century romance. And of course, then they've updated it and they have like a lesbian romance and they have this non-binary god that's there helping them and making comments and stuff. And I guess some people might think it was over the top, but I felt like it was funny and refreshing and creative. And I liked the songs, the Go-Go Girl songs. I walked out of there having had a good time. So yeah, that's a number 10 on my list. And number 9, I have Ghost the Musical. And I don't really know what people were wanting out of this because it is literally the movie, like beat for beat. And then they add some songs. And I thought for the most part, the songs were pretty. I think it's nice they kept some things from the movie, like they have Unchained Melody in the musical. And overall, there was nothing that I was like in love with as far as the songs, but they were like serviceable and I enjoyed them. And like, if you like the movie, you're going to like this musical. It's literally the movie. I guess it would depend on whether you had a lot of chemistry in the couple, and that would make a difference in the show. But for the most part, it was exactly what I thought I was going to get, and I enjoyed it. I got it. I watched this show at the Luminaire at Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center, which is a favorite venue of mine. I love that venue. Next up, I have All Shook Up. It's another jukebox musical that is based on Elvis songs. And then they work in, I think it's 12th Night. They work in some Shakespeare plots into the story. And they have a ton of his favorite songs of like Hound Dog, All Shook Up, obviously, or Never, Blue Suede Shoes, Little Conversation. So a ton of his songs. And I think they do a good job in this jukebox musical of working them into the story. It's honestly, I think it's better than Mamma Mia in that way, where Mamma Mia has to really stretch to fit some of those ABBA songs into the story. And here I think that they fit much better. And it's been a while since I saw this one. I saw it at Hale Center Theater Orem, and I think I saw it at the Sierra. I've seen it a number of times, but it has been a while. But I really did enjoy it when I got to see it. At number 7, we have Catch Me If You Can. And maybe because I'm like not the biggest fan of the movie, I think it's a little overrated. So maybe my expectations were lower for this than other people. I don't know, but I really had a great time with this. I saw it at the Sierra Shell and I thought they did just such an amazing job with the sets and the choreography and everything else. And I thought the Frank Abernathy Jr. and Carl Hanratty characters were, the two actors were so good in their role. They had great chemistry together. So I enjoyed that. It has a nice Christmas song. Christmas is my favorite time of the year, which is fun. I think a lot of people love Fly Fly Away, and that was enjoyable. This did get one Tony Award for Norbert Leo Butz for playing Carl Hanratty, and so there's that, I guess. But I don't know. I thought it was genuinely funny, engaging, great songs, great choreography. I had a wonderful time, watching Catch Me If You Can. So that's number 7. Number 6. I have Little Women. did get a Tony nomination for Sutton Foster. She didn't win. I read some people were underwhelmed by like some of the music, but I just completely disagree. I think it has one of the most beautiful duets, especially woman-woman duets I've ever heard in Some Things Are Meant to Be. I absolutely love that song. And the rest of the songs are really fun belt songs, really like Astonishing. That's a big moment. And then I really love Days of Plenty, which is a song sung by Marnie that is absolutely beautiful. I've seen this show many times. I've seen it, I think, at both Hales. I've seen it at OPA last year. I've seen it at many times, and I've enjoyed it every time. I love Little Women, and so this is pretty true to the book. Yeah, I mean, I think maybe they spent a little bit too long on some of the operatic tragedies and this, that Joe is writing. I think sometimes that can be a little much, but other than that, I think it's a great show. Okay, then at number 5, I have She Loves Me, and this did have several revivals, so maybe it's not a fair one to have on this list. But I feel like people don't know about it, and when I tell people about it, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. And even people that are kind of up on Broadway, they're not aware of the show, and it did win in. I think the original production and the revival did win, I think, 1 Tony each. I think it was featured players, I think. But so it's gotten some praise. It's gotten, a couple of revivals, most recently in 2016. And if you have Broadway HD, you can watch that production with Zachary Levi in it and in Laura Benassi. It's really fun. And this is the story of Perfumery, which has been told so many times, with a Shop Around the Corner, and You've Got Mail, and Good Old Summertime, and there's just something romantic about the idea of people falling in love with each other over their words. That's a very romantic concept, and that's what you have in the story of them writing each other and falling in love with each other, and they hate each other in real life. That's charming. I think the songs are really fun, and She Loves Me, I love, especially the ice cream number, I think is probably my favorite, but also when he sings She Loves Me, it's really fun. And I got to see this recently at Centerpoint Legacy, which was so good. And then I also saw it at the Pleasant Grove Players, which is in this little library, and they have such great shows. And this was one of the first I saw over there. And the leads were a married couple in real life, which was super fun. So I loved seeing that. So that is my next most underrated. Then at number 4, I have Children of Eden. And this one, I cannot understand why it has never gotten a Broadway run, because you would just think Stephen Schwartz alone as music and lyrics, with the popularity of Wicked, that would get this a run on Broadway. It's had, I think, off Broadway, but it has never been on Broadway. And it's such a good show. I mean, it is a religious show. It's about, the first part is about Adam and Eve, and the second part is about Noah. And I think the first part is probably stronger as far as the songs, but overall, it's really, really entertaining. A Spark of Creation's a great song. I also really love the In Pursuit of Excellence, which is sung by the snake, the devil. That's really fun. And so it's a great show. And if you ever get a chance to see it, I haven't seen it for a long time. It was at BYU when I saw it, but I hope that it comes to my area soon, because I really love to see it again. All right, then at number 3, I have the Spitfire Grill. And this is based on the movie from the 90s. And it's about a girl who wanders into this small town, and she has this backstory, and they start to figure out kind of what it is and what she's hiding. And I haven't seen this in a long time, many years, but it really made an impact on me. I saw it at Hale Center Theater Orem, and I just loved the songs. I loved the story. And I think that it's definitely one that deserves more love. It's never had a Broadway run. It only had an off-Broadway run. And it really made an impact on me. I haven't seen it in probably a decade. That's how long, but I still remember how beautiful the songs were and how touching the story was. And so I think this one deserves definitely more love, and hopefully people will start putting it on. At number 2, I have another one that only got off Broadway. It's Daddy Longlegs. And this was a great show for the pandemic, because It only has 2 people in it. And it is so charming. I love the show. It has music and lyrics by Paul Gordon. And it's a tough task for whoever gets assigned to do these roles, because it's like I said, only 2 actors on the stage the whole time. And it takes this book, the old book by Gene Webster, and turns it into this musical. If you've only seen the movie with Fred Astaire and Leslie Caron, that one, it gets a little weird because he's so much older than her. But in this one, she thinks he's older than her, but he's actually not. He's actually the same age, and he's like a benefactor to her. And he pays for her schooling, and she writes him letters, and they fall in love over these letters. Again, really romantic concept. And I love the songs. I love the whole thing. It was interesting. I put on Utah Theater Lovers, what was your favorite underrated musical? And I put an image of this, and pretty much everybody commented, was like, oh, I love that show so much. I love that show so much. And I saw this at Hale Center Theater twice, and I've seen it at the regular Hale. It's a great show. I love the songs. The Secret of Happiness is probably my favorite song of the whole show. My number 1 most underrated show, I've seen it so many times, I think 8 times I figured out, is Bright Star. I just recently saw it twice in this month at Hope Box. I saw it at Centerpoint. I've seen it at Hale Orem. And I am going to see it at Lehigh next month. If you want to see the show and you're in Utah, Lehigh Arts Council is putting it on next month. I'm so excited about it. And I just absolutely love the show. I think it's a perfect show. It has everything that you can want. It has the drama, it has the romance, it has the tragedy, it has the humor. It's just such a well-rounded show. The songs are so good and so catchy, and they have great places for choreography, and it has huge heart. It is a great show. I love every single song. It's hard for me to pick a favorite. Way back in the day is probably my favorite, but I love Bright Star. I even like a lighter song like Another Round. I think it's really fun. I love every song. I love the story. It is right up there with Les Mis as one of my favorite musicals, if not my favorite. It is a perfect show, in my opinion. And this was actually written by Steve Martin and Edie Bickel. And the music and lyrics are by Edie Bickel, book by Steve Martin. So they were both really involved in this. And I just think it deserved a way longer run than it got. It had 109 performances, which is just such a shame. I love the show, and it didn't end up winning any Tonys. It was nominated for a bunch. But I think it is without a doubt the most underrated Broadway show. I know I didn't include that many older shows, so if you have one that you think is underrated, please put in the comment section. I would love to hear what you think and what means underrated in your eyes for a Broadway show. Please put in the comments, and please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to have a playlist of all my theater content in the description, so definitely check that out. And also follow me at the Hallmarkies podcast. Lots of fun stuff going on over there. And you check out my new website for my theater reviews, Rachel Reviews Theater. I would be so grateful. That all the information in the description. I also have my Patreon link. If you could consider supporting me on there, it'll help me to be able to see more shows and maybe even take a New York trip so I can cover some of the new shows. I would just be so, so grateful. And you get great benefits for being a patron. You get the monthly watch longs with stars, and you have the weekly exclusive reviews. And I am trying to think of ways every day to make the Patreon more valuable. But then we also have the merch store, so please check that out. And thanks so much. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.